Your Pittsburgh Steelers are just connected to a perfect solution, but first let's identify the problem. And the problem is that there's no word yet on wide receiver Calvin Austin pertaining to his ability to play in this upcoming week and also for subsequent weeks moving forward. And I think if you guys do nothing, you run the risk of this offense going really stagnant. And that's why it's being predicted all over the place. And I actually am a huge advocate for this. The Steelers are predicted to trade for 290-yard wide receiver. That's how many yards he has so far this year. A guy who is an absolutely perfect fit with DK Metcalf and Aaron Rodgers. I'm talking about Jakobi Meyers. And man, this move makes sense. Absolutely every single way it makes sense. Why is that? We're talking fit, we're talking role, and we're talking cost. So let's dig into this a little bit. And at the same time, head coach Mike Tomlin, he just gave us some insight into what the plan is from the team if number 2 wide receiver Calvin Austin cannot go this week and in the future. I'm going to dig into that right after this. And we're looking at Jakobi Meyers, right? He's been a reliable option with the Oakland Raiders. I keep saying Oakland Raiders. Let's switch to Vegas. But he's been a reliable option since 2023 when he joined the team from the Patriots. And also, he just had the best year of his career in 2024. Numbers-wise, he had 1,027 receiving yards, 4 touchdowns on 87 receptions. But keep in mind, these numbers are with him missing 2 games, so a little more impressive. And then you're looking this offseason, coming into the 3rd and final year of his contract with the Raiders. He's like, I would really like to be paid. He asked for a new contract. That's something most Raiders fans had their support behind. But guess what? Davis, he decided to say no contract extension. And this is kind of an interesting thing. It's something that doesn't happen often. He actually decided to play anyways. He's going to prove it to the team. He also asked for a trade. The team said no. So now we're looking at head coach Pete Carroll. He has a team that's kind of officially a dumpster fire. It's looking like they need to totally retool here. And Jakobi Meyers is the absolutely perfect trade candidate to offer to another team that's a contender. So now we're kind of looking at where are the Raiders at. I want to support that as well because so many times these trades get bandied about online and there's absolutely zero support that the team offering the player is even going to do so. It's kind of a waste of time. I don't think this is one of those instances because you're looking at this team having the wheels absolutely fall off completely in week 5. They started the season 1-4. They ranked in the bottom half of just about every important metric as a team. There's not really much to salvage here this year. You're looking at the roster being filled with disappointments to begin the year. No one is performing. Chip Kelly, it was supposed to be a vastly improved offense under Chip Kelly. That just hasn't happened. And you also have Ashton Jeanty, the prize jewel of this rookie running back class, not really living up to his potential either. Most notably, probably because of the offensive line. It's absolutely garbage. But anyways, you're also looking at a quarterback that's led the league with 9 interceptions. He's getting plenty of criticism. Things are starting to fall apart. And also Jakobi Meyers, he's not putting up huge numbers either. We're kind of looking at, he had a big first game this year in week 1. He had 97 receiving yards on 8 receptions, and that was against the Patriots at Gillette. But since, hardly any impact. And frankly, this whole team has had hardly any impact on anyone. So who is Jakobi Meyers? If he's not performing for the Raiders, why would the Steelers want him? I mean, guess what? The number 1 receiver on a team is not everyone's role, right? But Jakobi Meyers, I think he's an absolutely fantastic, a perfect number 2 receiver. And there's also the thought here, and this was brought up by somebody in the comments section a couple videos ago. Thank you, you guys. A move needs to be made because if something were to happen to Metcalf, this offense would be fully cooked. I think the Steelers really need to make a move before the trade deadline here, and I think Jakobi Meyers is the perfect target. Not only because of his role, also because of what's happening on his previous team, the Raiders. They're going nowhere. They're going to start offloading talent, and also his price. So let's kind of look at the price here. And also, he's in a contract year. So the Steelers can pretty much give him whatever type of money that he is looking for. So what really would it cost? And this was brought about by Pro Football and Sports Network's Josh Well. He had this trade proposal and something that very well might be considered. The Steelers get wide receiver Jakobi Meyers, and the Raiders get a 2026 fourth-round pick. But you're also looking at the Steelers also having just a crazy amount of third-round picks. The Steelers have a ton of draft capital this year, a ton of third-round picks to offer the Raiders, and I would definitely spend one of those on Jakobi Meyers. I think it's a no-brainer. Get him signed to a contract extension. And when you talk about true number 2 wide receivers, I think Meyers is one of the best ones out there, and he has one of the surest pair of hands in the whole NFL. Kind of what he's done besides that career year. He's had 4 seasons at 800 yards or more. He's coming off a campaign, once again, a career best 1,027 yards. And that was with quarterbacks Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell throwing him the football. You got to think this is a perfect situation. I think we all need to pound the table for the Steelers to make this move. And then we're looking at the alternative, right? And this is getting into what Mike Tomlin had to say today. Austin, he wasn't clear on his return when he spoke with the media on Monday, but Mike Tomlin, he had a few things to say. And he's talking about Roman Wilson and Scotty Miller being absolutely primed to fill his role. I'm a little skeptical, but let's just hear what Mike Tomlin had to say. It's not necessarily about pulling from people that aren't here. And this is just today. It's about the elevation of roles of guys like Roman Wilson and Scotty Miller, for example. I'm excited about watching those guys work and maybe getting some elevated participation. I think that's one of the beautiful things of the journey that is the season. You're going to get faced with some challenges as a collective. One man's misfortune is another man's opportunity. And then he gave an example, and this is actually really forthcoming by Mike Tomlin. This is kind of surprising to me. He gave Kenneth Gainwell's performance against the Vikings as an example. Now, Gainwell against the Vikings, he rushed for 99 yards and 2 touchdowns on 19 carries, and this was during the 3-point win. Case in point, and this is from Tomlin once again, Jaylen Warren wasn't able to go in Dublin, and I think a lot of people had an opportunity to really appreciate Kenny Gainwell. Something that we already appreciated, something that we'd been watching day to day during the course of team development. And so hopefully, moving forward, if Calvin is unavailable, we're seeing the same things about some others. And he also, he pretty much talked through Wilson's limited reps in the offense, kind of by the way the offense has chosen to group their personnel people, namely of multiple tight ends, running 12 and 14 personnel. I don't know. You're looking at a third-round pick. He's never really caught on with his team. He only had his first career NFL reception when the Steelers lost to the Seattle Seahawks in Week 2. I'm a little skeptical, but if we can come out of this seeing Roman Wilson actually make some noise and be a reliable target, that's really good news, right? But I think I would much rather see, regardless if Calvin Austin is going to play or not, pull the trigger on Jakobi Meyers. Kick the tires, give the Raiders a serious offer, see if they bite. I think it's an absolutely perfect fit. You guys let me know in the comments what you think. I think it's really cool. You've got a player that fits a perfect role, really fits in with what Aaron Rodgers likes to do, has great hands, and also the price is going to be right. You guys, I hope you enjoyed this bye week. Now we're back to real football this weekend, and we'll talk soon. See ya.